Well, as is tradition, we're going to start, we've dedicated the vendor slot for November to the committee for the St. Louis Convention. And that committee is composed of two folks, Chuck Proudfoot and Steve Hollenbach. And let me make a brief introduction to these two gentlemen. Chuck has been a narrow gauger since 1958. In 1970, he became a narrow gauge member of the East Bay Model Engineers Society. Chuck is a Denver, South Park, and Pacific modeler, and beginning in 1958 with a trip to the Alpine Tunnel. I guess that kind of sold him on the idea. He is also a docent for the Cumbres and Toltec, and he's been that since 1989, and he is currently a docent coordinator. He joined the Mud Hens in 1981 and has been a member ever since, holding all the offices at least once. He is a founder and president of the Friends of 169. For the 45th Narrow Gauge Convention, Chuck serves as a co-chair in charge of external relations. Now, his opposite is Steve Hollenbach, and Steve has been a model artist since 1963 and a narrow gauge nut since 1982. Including the DNRGW and the RGS, and more recently, he's got interested in the White Pass in Yukon. He has developed a semi-kit for a Rico engine house in HO scale, and he's sold 15 copies so far. Steve is a past president of the Mud Hens. He is currently the secretary of the newsletter and editor for the Mud Hens. Steve is a co-chair in charge of internal relations. Well, what's amazing about these two guys is they both live in Phoenix. How about that? And they're putting on the St. Louis Convention. So with that, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
There are more than just two people on our committee, by the way. In fact, I think we're up something like 14.
I get to start with back to where it all began. We're back in the St. Louis area. The committee is from all over the country. We have 2 or 3 members in the St. Louis area, but we're from everywhere. The fact that Steve and I both live in the same small town in Arizona was a complete accident. But we're back to the convention, traditional schedule. Clinics in the morning, home layout tours in the afternoon, clinics in the evening. Got 36,200 square feet for vendors and displays, and we've almost got it filled. 5 clinic tracks, the photography contest, all the regular stuff. Extra fair venues are unique. We'll talk more about that. A full non-rail program, which is unique as well. And so we're off. Let's see if I can make it work now. It won't.
Page down.
I'll have to use this. Oh,
no.
Try your arrow key.
There it goes.
There you go.
All right, this is the brochure for the first one. And we managed to find the art and get it put out. And notice it was in October. Our hotel is the Doubletree by Hilton. We're in Collinsville, Illinois this time. So Metro St. Louis. And we've been in St. Charles. We've been in, I can't remember, in St. Louis a couple of times. The Hilton has everything that you would expect for a Hilton. It has a bar, which we've already warned them they need to double staff. The Porter's Steakhouse is an expensive place, but the food's really good. And of course, there's the pool, which none of us will ever go to. Convention rate, $123. It was $144, but we wrote something into our contract, courtesy of COVID, that if they're talking about redoing all the rooms, updating them. And we said, well, if they're not done, will you give us a discount? And they said, well, we'll be done. This was 3 years ago. And when they put the price up, it was $123. And I called and said, what are you doing? And they said, we're just not sure we're going to get it done. And so we're giving you the discount up front. So on-site parking, we have breakfast included, up to 4 breakfasts per room, so that no one has to end up paying for breakfast. It is a buffet style, and we've tried it, and it's really good. Short walk between the convention center and the DoubleTree. There's the convention center roof right there. There is a handicapped way across this. We just took a picture of the stairs. Here's the convention center. Inside, we have the whole area except the LaSalle room and this pre-function. Everything else, this is going to all be vendors and modular displays. Over here are 3 clinic rooms. There are 2 more over here. Clinic. Oh, I clicked. Sorry, I shouldn't have. And Steve, it's inside.
We have so far, believe we have 60 vendors signed up. We have room for 65. We have expanded the area. And so if you guys are, any of you are vendors, don't worry about where you've got your table assigned. We managed to expand the space and keep your table assignments more or less the same just by cutting it down the middle and pushing out either end. And we also got plenty of room for modular layouts. I'll talk about those a little bit soon. We've got 6 that are coming or have talked to us about coming to this thing. Typical clinic rooms for speakers and displays. Some of them will be set up for make and take, that kind of thing. Closing meeting is not going to be in that particular room with the fancy carpet, but it is going to be in a big room. Let's go. We've got 20 home layouts that are going to be on the tour. That's what we've got signed up so far. Could be more than that. And operating sessions are planned at many of them. And check our website photos for more details, www.45thnngc.com. And make sure you put the TH in the 45th NNGC. And we'll go into just a few of the home layouts, and Chuck will talk about those.
Am I doing that, or are you?
You told me this afternoon.
I want to do the extra fair. You do this.
I'll do the home layouts, everybody. Richard Rands has his Mineral South Fork Railway in ON 30. Really well done layout. We've got Pete Smith's Loon Lake Railway and Navigation Company. If you haven't seen it, it's a treat. Randy Myers Canyon and Rocky Mountain in SN3 and S scale will be there. A lot of vertical scenery on this one. I don't know if you guys know Gary Hoover. He's written many articles for Model Railroader. He's a photographer for them. The Mud Hens Club did a lot of photography with him to get our modules all professionally photographed. And he has gotten rid of the Santa Fe, and now he models Norfolk and Western in the 1950s to capture the end of steam on the N&W. Chuck Graham is going to have his DNRGW 4th Division and HON 3 on tour, and his scenery is almost complete on that one. Really clever way of doing multiple levels on the same scenery. John Kalin's Rio Grande Southern is going to be there. That's in SN3. It includes some just amazing trestles. The scenery is just to die for on his layout. Bob Lenz in HON3 has got his Colorado Western and Aspen Junction railroads. Once again, real familiar looking backdrops painted and real good scenery throughout.
Oh, it's my turn now, right?
Now you do the extra fair, Chuck.
Extra fairs, we've lined up several places. This one is self-guided. I don't know how many of you know, John W. Barringer III was the president of 3 major railroad, Class 1 railroads, and all of his papers and a lot of his memorabilia are here at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. It's a self-guided tour. You can go any day in the afternoon and walk in there. There is no charge. National Museum of Transport, anyone who's been in St. Louis knows about it. It will be open and available to us, not only trains, but planes and automobiles as well. Amstead Rail, Granite City. This is interesting. This and the next 2. This is a foundry, and they do a lot of railroad related work: wheels, axles, brake systems, brake gear, bolsters, and more. This will be a guided tour. You need to have hard hats, safety toed boots, and they will provide some of these, but you're going to be in the foundry while it's working on a daily basis. Continental Fabricators is another one where you'll need safety appliances as well. What we don't know about them, they do all sorts of things. They also do steam locomotive boilers. As we get closer and we know what their work's going to be like, we'll put up on the website exactly what they'll be working on for that tour. Gateway Rail Services. This one's fun. This is a guy who started collecting passenger cars as they were getting rid of them on the railroads, and he has 140 of them, and he rebuilds, rehabs, does custom work, etc. We will get a shop tour that they will be working. And then he said, you can go out into the yard and take pictures of whatever cars you want to. So a chance to really get a hold of some heavyweight passenger cars. More modern is Metro East Industries. This again is a tour while they're working. They are an industry leader that provides rail car and locomotive repair and maintenance, some contract service, some regionals, some class ones. They also contract to go out and service. 115 acres in suburban St. Louis, or I think this one's in Illinois.
I think it is on the east side. Yeah. It is.
And then last but not least, Live Steam, Wabash, Fishco, and Pacific. This tour will be on Saturday, and it's really interesting. What the connection is to us with this is one of the founding members of this was Bob Rands, the founder of Microengineering and Railcraft. And he spent a lot of time here working on this railroad. And back to you.
We've got a full slate of non-rail activities, and I don't know if you guys know Randy and Cheryl Myers. Cheryl has set up it goes beyond the typical spousal activities, but we do have the typical spousal activities, make and take workshops for finger knitting, bracelets, necklaces, stuff like that. But she's also lined up some guest speakers that are really good. Van de Vender Place, the Gilded Age in St. Louis, is a mansion in St. Louis. And this is kind of a tour and speaking lecture. Then we've got Streetcars of Yesteryear. If any of you guys are into traction, I can tell you about the St. Louis Car Company. When I was a little kid growing up, all of these were parked alongside the levee. They had taken them all out of service in, they kind of had to surrender to the bi-state bus system. And a little bit of scam going on between GM, Firestone Tires, and the oil companies on getting that accomplished, I'm sure. But we used to have streetcars, big red streetcars all over St. Louis. And there's a real good lecture about yesteryear in St. Louis if you're into traction. Okay, now here's some strange ones. And you wonder what your spouse is going to be learning while you're focused on trains here. We've got non-rail presentations with guest speakers. Maybe it's your medication is one of them for all of us that are getting gray hair. And we talk about the drugs we're doing, and they're all prescription. And then estate planning basics, what she's going to do when I'm gone. Downsizing made easy. Try to downsize before it all lands in your wife's lap. Here's a real good one. Blood spatter analysis at a crime scene. Okay, we're getting into CSI stuff here. All aboard the genealogy train. Can your DNA put your relative in jail or keep you out of jail? New announcements are in the small world or the world of small animal medicine, and tips for selling your home and more. So she's got some guest speakers lined up that are going to put on way beyond what we typically think of as the non-rail activity. And then we also have out in Augusta, Missouri, in wine country. Yes, Missouri has wine country. They have the Miss Augusta River Cruise, and this is a 105-foot yacht. The Miss Augusta is basically one of these dinner river cruises, very luxurious 3-course meal prepared by the chef on board the yacht. And this is kind of a limited offer thing. We need to have a minimum of 24 people, and we already have that, but it's a maximum of 50 people. And this is going to be set up, I believe, for Saturday, and we may add a day to that. It just depends on how many people want to sign up for it. And we are in contact with the owners of this business, and they have told us that they might make a second day available. So we'll find out. Anyway, sign up ahead of time. It's not cheap, but it is worth it.
News from the registrar as of this afternoon, of the 24 minimum we needed, 7 are already sold, and none of the committee has yet ponied up. And I know 2 or 3 committee members are going. So
Yeah.
it's going to sell out quick, I think. Oh, come on. You're supposed to use the button.
Okay. They also have nearby attractions in St. Louis. Okay, I may live in Arizona, but I grew up in the St. Louis area. Oddly enough, I lived right behind Grant's Farm, and that's where the Clydesdales for Anheuser-Busch are raised and bred. And those are just beautiful horses. Grant's Farm has a lot to do and a lot for kids, especially. If you're really going more into prehistory, we got the ancient Cahokia mounds.
Oh,
Mud pyramids that were built who knows when, how long ago. Historic St. Charles, Missouri. If you just got a hankering to go to St. Charles, even though their convention center was expensive, they've got tons of restaurants, lots to see in historic St. Charles. We've got the Gateway Arch. You can go up into the arch and get a panoramic view of the entire area. There are no end of eateries. We've got them listed on our website. There's an area in St. Louis called The Hill. If you're into Italian food, you will not run out of places to go on the hill. And you can even play bocce ball in the evening and drink a beer out in the backyard. Okay. Lots of public golf courses, casinos. St. Louis is loaded. There's plenty to do there. I'm going to ramble on for just another minute about St. Louis because I'm from there. Okay, we've got one of the leading zoos. I think it's second only to the San Diego Zoo in the United States. We've got one of the most beautiful botanical gardens if you want to take your wife down there. Just lots and lots to do. And not to mention, we are going to have a narrow gauge convention. There's going to be plenty of vendors, more than the usual convention. There's going to be modular layouts. There's going to be layouts on tour. We are lining this thing up to just knock it out of the park. So meet me in St. Louis next year, about 10 months from now.